The most valuable data in CEA starts with you. Agritecture and CEAgWorld are thrilled to invite you to participate in the 2025 Global CEA Census, the largest global survey dedicated to the controlled environment agriculture industry. The census is the industry's pulse check, a real-world snapshot of how growers are using technology across the protected cropping spectrum to deliver practical, actionable insights to help shape the future of CEA. Help us join the next generation of farming at CEAgWorld.com/census. That's CEAgWorld.com/census to get started. Welcome to CEAg Talks, the video series from CEAgWorld, a media site devoted to the business of growing food undercover, including greenhouse produce, vertical farms, and outdoor protected crops. Today, we're welcoming Dr. Justine Taylor, Chief Sustainability Officer at Topline Farms, a greenhouse operation in Leamington, Ontario. Justine has extensive history in the CEA industry, including experience with Ontario vegetable growers, the Canadian Court Council, and CropLife Canada. Justine, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
So, just glancing at your LinkedIn profile, it's apparent that you have a lot of experience with CEA research. What first interested you in this side of the industry?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So I've always been drawn to using science as a tool for solving real world problems all the way through my undergrad and my grad studies. That was always my focus. And I had actually started on my career down an academic pathway in chemistry, but I found myself getting really frustrated with the lack of real world application. And honestly, by pure coincidence, I found the perfect mix of science and application when I joined the Ontario Greenhouse Vegetable Growers. So that role really combined both the technical depth as well as practical application. And so I was able to use research to guide policy decisions, to improve on-farm practices, and most importantly, to support grower success. So it was really like that intersection of science and agriculture that just really made sense to me, and I found very satisfying. So it was really, I think, being able to see that immediate impact of using good data and sound strategy to improve food systems. That to me was very satisfying.
What are some of the main gaps you've noticed between the business side of the industry and research on a higher level?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest gaps is timelines. So science and research generally tend to move at a slower, more methodical pace, whereas business, especially in agriculture, needs faster, more actionable insights and things that work on the ground kind of immediately. So that's one of the gaps. I think another one of the gaps is also a bit of a language gap. Sometimes I hear both scientists or researchers and business owners saying the same thing, but not really hearing each other because they're each framing it differently. So in order to bridge that gap, we need to find more cross-functional thinkers, right? People who can translate technical data into operational value and really make those touch points. And I think there also needs to be clarity right from the start of a project. So when a researcher and a business owner are beginning to discuss a project, they need to really understand what's the goal of the project, what are the intended outcomes, what's the scope, what's in scope, what's not in scope. And I think the research itself really needs to be designed with business outcomes in mind. So rather than being focused exclusively on knowledge generation or creation, which don't get me wrong, definitely has a place, it really has to be focused on those business outcomes. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be money. It doesn't necessarily have to be a better financial return. Sometimes just removing a pain point or clearing a policy hurdle can provide tremendous value to businesses.
So as an experienced researcher, can you describe some of the trends you expect to see in CEA research over the next few years?
Oh, I'm not sure if I tackle CEA research. I haven't been directly involved in that field for the last couple of years, and I know things move really quickly in that space. So I wouldn't want to speculate on that. I would say on the sustainability side, look, in sustainability more generally, I think we're seeing a lot more pressure around transparency. So reporting on carbon emissions, water use, labor practices, et cetera. And I think that's only going to grow over time. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but we have to be careful that, the burden of proof of those transparency systems isn't so onerous that it discourages participation. So I think the focus really has to stay on progress and continuous improvement. So on the thinking about like sustainability research in and of itself, I think we'll see more work on assigning a value to less tangible outcomes. So something like biodiversity. Carbon is relatively easy to quantify. We have carbon markets. It's pretty easy to assign a value to that. But like, how do we assign a value to ecosystem health or services or clean water? So it's a super big question, and I think that's where a lot of attention is headed in the sustainability research side of things.
Well, Justine, those are all the main questions that I really had for you, but is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
I think just that I really strongly believe that sustainability only works when it's practical and when it's built on collaboration. I'm a huge fan of collaboration and partnerships, so it's really where I spend a lot of my efforts. So really the most exciting part of this role for me is being able to work with both retailers, growers, and community partners to build something that's really meaningful. And I have to remind myself, since it's such a big space, that it's not necessarily about being perfect on day one. It's really about making progress day by day and doing that together with our partners.